Good day, friends. It's Mikey GloveSave. It's Tuesday, and I got WNBA Playoff picks for that ass. We got two awesome games tonight, and you probably thought, I'm not going to hear from Mikey GloveSave anymore with the WNBA season. He's just all into foosball, and hockey season's coming up soon. No. Mikey GloveSave has a loyalty to his disciples, which are all bots, to give them the bitchinest WNBA plays on the planet. And I found some ones that I really like today at some prices that I really like, which probably means they're going to lose. Now, keep in mind, per my last video, we're going to be extra particular about some price discrepancies here. But there are a couple exceptions. So stand by for Mikey GloveSave's WNBA picks. Starting things off with Phoenix versus Minnesota, we're going to get a little freaky with Dewana Bonner, the rebound machine. No idea why her rebound prop is still set at 4.5. Go check out her stats. Your mind will be blown too. I got her over 4.5 rebounds at minus 136 on FanDuel, and I put 2 units on that sumbitch. She's minus 143 to minus 160 on other books, and I'm also going to ladder that ass. So, laddering 6+ rebounds for a full unit plus 154 on FanDuel, and 8+ rebounds for a half unit plus 530 on FanDuel. 4.5 is just silly for this young lady. To Sabali, under 14.5 points, minus 115 on DraftKings. She's on auto bet for me as long as this line is set at 14.5 to 15.5, which is where it fluctuates from, and the price is good. Daddy takes the under. 30% hit rate in the last 10 games. She just had 10 on Sunday versus Minnesota, but on top of that, she just rarely clears this line anyway, plus Minnesota is second in preventing points to forwards, so Daddy took double S, set to Sabali, under 14.5 points, minus 115 on DraftKings. And of course, since I don't think she's going to clear the 14.5, I don't think she's going to hit her 3-point prop either. If she's going to go over that line, she's going to need more 3-pointers. But check this out. I took her under 1.5 3-pointers, minus 115 on DraftKings. It's minus 136 on FanDuel, which, as my disciples know, Mikey GloveSave likes to use that as the source of truth when it comes to sharper player props. She has not cleared this line at all versus Minnesota this year. Not one 3-pointer in 3 games versus Minnesota. And Minnesota is second in preventing 3-pointers to forwards. Now, I would have just stuck with the under on the points, but how can you pass this up for that price discrepancy? Satu Sabali, under 1.5 3-pointers, minus 115 on DraftKings. Let me start this next one off by saying I do not like this play, which I guess really doesn't matter because the plays that I like lose and the ones that I don't really think are going to hit end up hitting. But I got Alyssa Thomas over 8.5 assists, plus 110 on DraftKings. It's minus 122 on FanDuel. That price discrepancy is too good to pass up. Plus, I think it's good that FanDuel has her projected to go over. That shows that there is a bit of probability here. Not a great hit rate, but anytime you're dealing with Alyssa Thomas, rebounds or assists, it's just a funky line. But it's a great price. Alyssa Thomas over 8.5 assists plus 110 on DraftKings. And this next one will be an exception to the Miguel de GloveSave price discrepancy rule here. We're going to go under 21.5 points for Napheesa Collier, minus 125 on Caesars. So yeah, no price advantage here. However, she has not even come close to clearing this line at all this year versus Phoenix, or as I like to call it, Pahonix. Pahonix is third in preventing points to forwards, and Sleeper has a promo on Napheesa Collier. Whenever there's a promo, Mikey GloveSave says, what do they know? What are they doing here? She has an 18.5 point prop promo on Sleeper. And if you go back and look at what she's done versus Phoenix this year, 18 points, 10 points, and 18 points. So what does that tell you? Take the under. Under 21.5 points for Napheesa Collier, minus 125 on Caesars. Damn, I'm good. Kayla McBride over 14.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. It's minus 125 on FanDizzle. 60% hit rate so far in 5 games versus Phoenix this year. And the last 2, she scored 18 and 21. Give Daddy some Kayla McBride over 14.5 points. And we're going to give you a rare outside of the player prop realm play. Daddy took Phoenix. Pahonix at plus 7.5, minus 110 on MGM. They are favored to hit this at minus 118 on Pinnacle, so we are getting a small 8-cent price advantage on this. But on top of that, I just find it hard to believe that they're going to get their asses kicked like they did last game. That's all. And Mikey GloveSave has a lot going on today, but per usual, you know he's not going to let that stop him from getting the disciples of GloveSave, the bitchin' NBA picks, on to Las Vegas versus Indiana. We're going to go Jackie Young, under 4.5 assists at Fanatics. It's plus 115. It's plus 104 on FanDuel. Small price advantage, but I don't really love this play, but I like it enough at this price. She hasn't cleared this line since game 1 of the playoffs versus Seattle. Then she had 4 assists versus Seattle, 1 versus Seattle, and then 2 versus Indiana this past Saturday. She's cleared this 1 out of 4 games versus Indiana this year, and that one game being back on June 22nd. Also, Indiana is second in preventing assists to guards. That's why Mikey GloveSave is taking Jackie Young under 4.5 assists plus 115 on Fanatics. This is a bit of a gamble. And Odyssey Sims, over 10.5 points. It's minus 105 on Caesars, minus 110 on FanDuel. A negligible price advantage here, but I do like the probability of this. She just cleared this Saturday with 17 points. The other 2 times she played Vegas this year, she was with the Sparks, scoring 15 and 0. Don't know what that was all about, but overall 16% hit rate in the last 5 games. Odyssey Sims, over 10.5 points, minus 105 at Caesars. Kelsey Mitchell, over 20.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. It's still at 20.5. I find that interesting. A very negligible price advantage here. It's not even worth mentioning. But she just scored 34 versus Vegas this past Saturday. The team is also very dependent on her to mostly fill the void with all of the other injuries to the guards on the team. She did clear this 3 of 4 times versus Las Vegas this year, and the one time she didn't clear it was back on June 22nd, and she still almost cleared it with 20. Good history versus Vegas. Kelsey Mitchell, over 20.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. And if our girl Kelsey's going to go over a point, she's probably going to go over 3 points to get there, so I got her over 2.5 3-pointers, plus 110 on Fanatics. It's plus 102 on FanDuel. Nothing to get naked over, but this is 100% hit rate versus Vegas in the last 2 years. Need I say more? Okay, now Lexi Hall, under 8.5 points. Really like her to go under this, but I didn't like any of the prices. It was pretty much minus 130 and 120 across the board. However, as it is minus 130 on FanDuel, I have a boost on Fanatics, which brought it down to minus 118, giving a nice price advantage. You know I like my price advantages. Lexi Hall, under 8.5 points, minus 118 with the boost on Fanatics. She is 0 for 4 versus Vegas on this line this year, and she has only a 40% hit rate in the last 10 games. She rarely clears this. I'm surprised that this wasn't down at 7.5. Lexi Hall, under 8.5 points, minus 118 with the boost on Fanatics. And you know Daddy's going to have a Landmaster BSGP for that ass, but this one's going to be a little bit different. Daddy's not going to take like 4 different plays and say, we're probably going to get hosed on this. Let's take this down from this to this and put together a low-value play. We're going to do a 4-legger with the boost on DK. Now listen to this. Plus 739, we got Kayla McBride, over 2.5 3-pointers. Alyssa Thomas, 15 plus 3-pointers. That was originally at 14.5. Now it's moving up to 15.5. So we're going to get this one in here. Kalia Copper, over 1.5 3-pointers. And Natasha Howard, 8 plus 3-pointers, plus 739 on DraftKings for a quarter unit. Now I got shit to do. Let's win some bets. Mikey GloveSave out.